All right, boys and girls. So hopefully you're having a good day. Today we're working with volume of rectangular pyramid. So we're continuing with volume. We're just bringing in a new shape. So Monday and Tuesday you worked with prisms. Today you're gonna be working with pyramids. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with our warm up. You have 3 different questions to answer. The first one says, "What is the formula for volume of a rectangular prism?" Second one says, "What is the formula for volume of a rectangular pyramid?" And then the third one says, "What is the difference between the formula for volume of a rectangular prism and a rectangular pyramid? And why do you think that is?" So why do you think it has that little bit of a difference? Okay. So go ahead and pause your video, answer these 3 questions, and then come back. All right, so you should be back from answering your 3 questions, sorry, for your warm up. And like I said, today we're working on volume of rectangular pyramids. So our objective for today, our SC says, "I can apply mathematical process to solve problems involving the volume of rectangular pyramids." And our LO says, "I can write about the difference of calculating volume for prisms and pyramids using sentence stems." Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. This is our first question. It says, "Do you think there is a difference in volume?" So do you think there's a difference in the volume of these 2 shapes? Okay. So take time to think about it. Maybe even talk to your partner about it. Okay. So that's just kind of a question to get you thinking before we go ahead and get started with our So what do you notice? So as you watch the video, what do you notice? Okay.
So I've got my essay written, and I've been working on it for about a week. So now I'm going to show you how I use Grammarly to edit. Okay, so here's my essay.
All right, so let's go ahead and go back to our. So, what did you notice from the video? Okay. So, one thing you may have noticed right off the bat is that those 2 shapes in the video looked like the 2 shapes from our previous slide, right? They look almost identical to these. So, what did you notice in the video? Okay. So, take time to think about that. Maybe even talk with a partner. Pause your video, come right back. All right, so hopefully you had time to think about it, maybe even talk to a partner. Okay, so one thing you may have noticed, like I said before you paused the video, was that those shapes that he started off with looked almost identical to the ones in our previous slide. Another thing you may have noticed is how many pyramids did it take to fill up the prism? Okay, so yeah, it took him 3 pyramids. It took him filling up 3 pyramids with the green water to fill up 1 prism. Okay, so those are the that's really the important thing you should have noticed, is that it took 3 pyramids to fill up 1 prism. Okay, so now you're gonna write nonstop for 3 minutes and respond to the prompt. So this prompt says, what is the difference between calculating the volume of a prism versus the volume of a pyramid? So looking at those two formulas, what is the difference between in those formulas? Because those are formulas we use to solve for prism and for a prism and a pyramid. Okay, so you have 3 sentence stems that you can use to start. Okay, so you're gonna choose one of those, or maybe even all 3 of them if you can incorporate all 3 of them into your writing to respond to the prompt. Okay, so go ahead and pause your video for 3 minutes and then come right back. All right, so hopefully you it's been 3 minutes and you came back. Okay, if you didn't notice, you had a section on your notes where to respond to this prompt. Okay? So you should already be familiar with the formula. It's on your, or if you haven't found it, it's on your formula chart, but you probably found it for the previous slide on your formula chart. So what is our formula for volume of a pyramid? Okay, so let's go ahead and find that on our chart. And you'll notice that it's V equals 1/3 big B times H. Okay, and so we learned that the big B, or the capital B, stands for what from our previous 2 days. Okay, so if you said it stands for area of the base, you are absolutely correct. Okay, and then we know that H stands for the height, right? Let me rewrite that. Oh, look, okay. And V stands for volume, of course. Okay. If you notice, with our formula for volume of a pyramid, we have 1/3. Why do you think we have 1/3? Think back at that video that we saw. Okay. Okay. So yeah, if you said that we have 1/3, is because we're finding the volume of 1 pyramid, and it took 3 pyramids to fill up 1 prism. That means that a pyramid is 1/3 of the prism. So that's why we're multiplying by 1/3. Okay. Now let's go ahead and move on. So how do I solve for volume of of pyramid? It's gonna be similar, or the same steps that we used previously. So first things first, we're gonna shade the base. Okay. Then we're gonna write the formula. Like I said, these are the same steps from the past 2 days. Then we're gonna find the area of the base. Fourth, you're gonna substitute in your numbers. And lastly, but not least, you're gonna solve. Okay, so you're gonna shade the base of your shape. You're gonna write the formula, because depending on the shape, whether it's you're working with pyramids today. So, and then you're gonna find the area of the base. Remember, the base, the area of the base is gonna be the formula for whatever shape the base is, the area for whatever shape the base is. And then, of course, you're going to substitute in your numbers and solve. So let's go ahead and do our we do. Okay, so we have the same layout as we've had for the past 2 days. Okay, hopefully you've been using it when you are working with your independent practice. Okay, so our first we do. So we're going to find the volume of a pyramid. And we know that our formula for volume of a pyramid is V equals 1/3 area of the base times height. Okay, so what shape do we have here? That's going to tell us what shape our base is. Well, here it tells us it is a rectangular pyramid. So what shape is our base? A rectangle. It tells us in our title. So we're going to go ahead and shade in our base, which is a rectangle. And I went ahead and I wrote the formula before shading my base. Sorry, guys. I might have thrown you off. Okay, so I shaded the base. So I wrote the formula. Now we're going to find the area of the base. What shape is our base? Okay. We said it was a rectangle, so that means we're going to find the area of a rectangle, which is, our formula says it is what? A equals BH, correct. So we're going to solve, and our base of our rectangle is 3, and our height is 2. So we would solve that. What's 3 times 2? 6, that is correct. So now we're going to take that and we're going to plug it into the area, to the big B, or the area of the base. So now we're going to have V equals 1/3 area of the base, which we said is 6, times the height of the pyramid. And the height of the pyramid is always going to go from the base to the very tippy top point. Okay, the very top point. And what is our height? Okay, if we said 5, that is correct. Okay. All right, so now we can go ahead and solve that. So we're going to have V equals 1/3 times 6. Okay, and remember we know 1/3 multiplying by 1/3, it's the same thing as dividing by 3. Okay, so 1/3 times 6 would give us 2. And now we're going to multiply that by our height. So V equals 10. Okay? If you need to see how 1/3 times 6 is the same thing as divided by 3, well, you have 1/3. And you do times 6, so you're going to have 6. And you have to turn that into a fraction. So you put it over 1. So 1 times 6 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. Well, it's an improper fraction, so we have to simplify until you would do 6 divided by 3 would give you 2. So that's how we got the 2. Okay? Just in case you were wondering where that 2 came from, that's how we got it. Okay? So now you have your you-do. Okay? Shape looks the same. Maybe just numbers are different. Okay? Again, we have to start with identifying our base to shade it in. It is a rectangular pyramid, so that means our base is a rectangle. So we're going to shade in that base. Okay. So now the second step says to write your formula. So this shape is a what? A pyramid. So yep, we're going to use our volume of a pyramid formula, which is 1/3 area of the base times height. Then you're going to find the area of the base. And again, it's a rectangle, so you're using the same formula that we used previously, which is A equals area of the base times height. The good thing is today you're only working with rectangular pyramids, so the steps will be exactly the same for your independent practice also. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and finish solving this out. Pause your video till you're done solving it, and then come back. Okay, so you should be back from solving this problem on your own. Okay, so if you, when you solved for area of the base, you had to plug in your base, which is 6, times your height of your base, which is 2. And that should have given you 12. Okay, then remember you take that and you plug it into your big B. So you're going to have V equals 1/3 area of the base, which is 12, times your height. And we said our height goes from the base all the way to the very tippy top of the pyramid. And our height is what? 7. That is correct. Okay. So now you can go ahead and solve that. So you're going to have V equals 1/3 times 12. Okay. Remember we said multiplying by 1/3 is the same thing as dividing by 3. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. That is correct. Now you have 4 times the height, which we said was 7. So V equals 28. So that means your volume is 28 inches cubed. Okay, sorry, I didn't put that on the previous one for our answer. Yeah. And again, if you need to see how I got 4, again, it would be 1/3 times 12, and it's a whole number, so you have to turn it into a fraction. So 1 times 12 is 12. 3 times 1 is 3. So 12, again, it's an improper fraction. You cannot leave it like that. So you have to do 12 divided by 3. That gives you 4. That's how we got the 4. Okay? And that's how we ended up with 28. Okay, so hopefully you got that right and you got the steps correct. All right, so now you're going to go ahead and work on your independent practice. You're going to work independently, work quietly, work with a purpose, meaning with the goal in mind of completing all your independent practice. As I know, my class and Mr. Escobar's class both have subs, but you're still getting grades this week. So you need to make sure you are productive so that you have a good grade when myself and Mr. Escobar come back. Okay. If you have any questions, raise your hand. The subs will help you the best to their ability. Okay. If you need extra help, you can attend tutorials with one of either Mr. Galvan, Miss Zamora, Ms. Arnold, or Ms. Hollister, and they'll be able to help you. Okay. And remember, you must use APE, and with WTFSS incorporated in it. You should have been using it. If you're not, I want the least you need to be doing is creating that T-chart like the one on the previous slide. Oops, sorry. Kind of like this, okay? So you don't have to create 2 boxes. You can kind of just create a T-chart and then put your volume formula here and your area of the base formula here. Oh, I don't know why my pen did up so thick. Sorry, guys. All right. So make sure you do that, and also make sure you complete your exit ticket. It's on your notes as well. Okay. So if you're done with your notes, raise your hand so you can get the independent practice, or if you already have it, go ahead and get started.